Our next presenter I'm super excited about. Mr. William Santos is no stranger to the Great Lakes Floral Association. He's the owner of Monarch Garden and Floral in Petoskey, Michigan for the last 14 years. And he's got over 25 years of design experience in the industry and is a strong believer that education and continued learning is the foundation for us. His work has been featured in Traditional Home, not sure if you know that magazine, but it's really cool, and the Knot magazines. He currently serves as the president of the Petoskey Garden Club. I'm really excited for this program, sponsored by his store, Monarch Garden and Floral Design. Let's give it up for Mr. William Santos.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. Where's the clicker? So first of all, this is a complicated subject, and we usually do this in a longer class. We have done this at the store, and we took 7 hours to do a class, and we barely touched the subject. So this is something that is just going to be a little basic of everything. This is the right button? Okay. So the importance of, first of all, my name is William Santos. I'm from Monarch in Petoskey, Michigan. If you're ever north, we are 3 hours north of here if you want to come visit. Why are they important? They increase traffic, right? When people are walking by or going in, it gets their attention and makes them want to stop in or look more into the store. It creates brand awareness because we all design in our head what our brand needs to be, and your store needs to reflect what that is going to be. Of course, we're highlighting the products and what their features are and whatnot. And most important, it stands out from the competition. It's a loud world out there. There's a lot of noise, and how are we going to stand out? I am in a small town. Our town has basically 2 streets. There are, I think right now, 7 flower shops. How do I stand out? By making crazy displays that people come into the store and they don't want to leave. A good example was I was at Walgreens before we drove down here, and a lady stopped me at the store. Said, "Oh, wait, you're from Monarch. I love your windows. They're great." That's what you want, random people selling your store for you. 80% of the decision of the purchase of a customer happens in your store. Even they know they want flowers, they don't know what flowers they want. That's why they want to go into your cooler. That's why they want to ask you questions, what's fresh. All this impulse buy is that opportunity that you have to increase your sales at the store. Also, this is very funny, 8-second attention span. 10 years ago used to be 15. Right now, all the social media, the TikTok videos, that's how long you have to get their attention. I'm walking through your store. If you don't make me stop, that's it. I don't care. I could be walking in front of your store 20 times a week, and nothing is motivating me to stop and go inside that store that looks cool. I want to be in there. I want to see what they're about. And remember always the magic of three. Sets of 3 candle holders. It's a very important number when we are doing retail displays. There's a couple ways we are selling a product or we're selling an idea. Our inside of the store is all dedicated of selling a product. What it makes a good display, number one, that is organized and clean is just kind of basic, but a lot of us get distracted with all the daily basis. And sometimes, I admit, the store looks like a hot mess. And it's because, we're trying to do too much. We are utilizing cross-merchandising, and this is kind of important because we get in our sets, in our ways that the candles go over here. But if you learn to take maybe one of those candles and put it with this display over here, now we are increasing the chance of selling that candle because that candle display is in the back in the corner. And it's just, people don't walk that direction. Or how many people come into the store and ask, do you sell candles? Of course we do. We've been selling candles for 15 years. items that support or complement each other. Sometimes when we buy merchandise, we don't have a plan, and things get shuffled, they showed up, and now we have to work with all this product that makes no sense. That we have a very contemporary container, and we have a very rustic basket, but that's what we bought. So it sometimes is good to have a plan on what we are going, or what our store is going to look through the year, and say we are going to go for, it happens a lot with Christmas. Plan your Christmas displays to say, I'm going to do a white winter wonderland with a little bit of rustic and birch, and write it down. So then when you're ordering the product, if it doesn't fit in one of those lists, then don't buy it because you don't have a place to put it. And it's going to end up that random item that you don't know what to do with. Color coordinated, I am obsessed with this. In my entire store, it's color coordinated. Basically, if you want white flowers, they're over here. If you want blue, are over there. We get a lot of people that come in with a task list. I am redecorating my room, and these are my colors. Well, if you need white flowers, they're going to be over here. My store is 5,000 square foot. There's a lot of walking around that is going to happen. So if you concentrate that here, makes it easier to shop, but also makes it look good. And we also like to incorporate a silk flower, a planter in the same color story. Usually you get the people who like white will always go to the white. The people who like blue will always go to the blue. Mixing up textures and shapes, it makes the displays look more interesting. Like in the slide that you see there, you know, there's the lady, there's the finial, there's the candle holder, there's the silk flowers. We are really big on silk flowers. My store has, on a regular basis, probably $100,000 in silk flowers at all times. So it's a big number for us. Good lighting, and this is something sometimes that we don't. This is what we have, this is what we work, and we don't improve on that. And lighting makes, it changes the colors. And we think this is a white, but with the lighting that we have, it looks yellow. I'm never gonna sell it. Because the people who want white, or it's at the back of the store where it's dark, and you don't see how pretty this product is, or how much it glistens with the light. Strategic positioning is when we are thinking as a flower part of our brain, that when we're doing flowers for Easter, we want the containers that are Easter close to the workstation so we don't have to work really far away to get them. But that is on the back of the store. So then you're never going to sell those to the customer because they're not in a prominent position. So we have to kind of think outside the box. Say, let's put a few of them here so people know, hey, we have them available, not just hide them all on the back. And encouraging multi-purchase is, I always like to put items in multiples, at least of 3. 3 candle holders, 3 pots, because sometimes people come in and say, you know, I'm looking for centerpieces for a wedding, but they don't tell you that. And then suddenly, I like this container, but you only have 2. It's like, no, I have 20. They're right here. You could buy them all if you want to. And it happens at a store all the time. You're having a dinner party, and I need 15 candle holders. Where are they? Right here. You can buy them all if you want. It happens all the time. Let's see what the next slide is. Okay, here are some of displays of my store. So you see we have a little bit of lavender, a little bit of red. The counter is kind of crooked, the picture. That's my fault. By the way, I'm horrible at taking pictures. That counter is behind our station where we do all the silk products. So when we're talking to the customer, that's behind me. I use a lot of old fixtures. Most of our fixtures on the stores are tables that I bought at resale stores for $25 to $100 at the most. This is an old dining room table that was actually just like that, and I said, works fine by me. Underneath, we have planters that we sell. They're outdoor planters that we put silk flowers and whatnot. I don't like the silks that are underneath to go above the edge of the table. You want to make sure this is pushed all the way in, so I could actually stand in front of the table and grab the items. When you are displaying specifically tables, the middle of your table is the higher item, and you build from that point all the way to the edge where is the small candle holder or the smaller item. A lot of people use an upside down pot to put another pot, and what that creates is a trip hazard. So you want to make sure that the pot that is in the middle is a glass that goes all the way down, so when I'm touching that, it doesn't tip over and knock everything down. Let's see. This is Kennedy's here in town. If you are not familiar, you should go visit. They do a really good job in their retail merchandising, and what they're good is that they will curate collections. And when they go purchase, they have a plan, and they say, I'm going to do an Easter display, and you see they have the Easter bunnies, they have the little Easter pillow, and it's a little more thought of. But all that is done at the purchase, not at the store. So when things come in, they already have a plan. Where is it going to go? And if you don't have a lot of retail and you have flowers, this is Monarch. It's in France. And I love their floral displays. And I will suggest there's a trend or it's a way of working in Europe is that they don't have flower coolers. All their flowers are out at all times. So for us, we like to keep them in the cooler. But wouldn't it be good to have something like that for Mother's Day? When you walk in, look at all these beautiful flowers, all color coordinated, catches your eye, gives you option. We have a smaller, a medium, a large, grab and go. The middle is one of their windows. It's very simple. It's quite pretty, just as succulents and cactus. And then they have the holiday display with all the amaryllis, but they also mix all their arrangements with it. Another way of visual merchandising is we're selling an idea or a concept. This is where I go crazy. This is one of our windows for Christmas. Our store has 50 feet of glass. And for those people who say, I want really big windows, be careful what you wish for, because it turns into a lot of work and a lot of money to upkeep. Every time you change a window display, it becomes a major project. Have you ever thought of who your customer is? Who are you selling to? Who comes into your store? Or most important, who do you want that person to be? Our customers are women between 25 and 65. So our entire store is built around that. This is who shops here. This is who spends the money. So a lot of our displays are female-oriented for that reason. This display is probably 10 feet tall. This is an arch, a moon arch, actually from weddings, that I got on Etsy. And we built with greenery from the farmer's market. Here's when I go crazy. This is actually standing on cinder blocks to make it even higher, because our storefront has a foot of concrete. So I want everything to be in complete view. All the bottom is all poinsettias, and they're live. You know poinsettias, when you start moving them, they keep breaking and falling apart. And how do you water them? The best trick is get the trays that go underneath your water heater in your house. So if your water heater is leaking, it goes into this tray. We bought these trays, we put 8 of them and duct taped them together, so then it doesn't ruin your floor. But then when you're gonna water the plants, you pour the water on the tray and the plants absorb from the bottom. That way you don't have to take the display apart, ever. These plants go in the window, usually in the middle of November, and they come out the first week in January. We don't touch them. We just pour water in the tray, and that's how we water them. Let's see which one is next. This was another Christmas display that we did. This is a bad idea to use. I decided I want the entire window to be a display. This was 50 feet of display. The entire year, the window was as big, the display was as big as the window. So it takes a lot of work. So we have multiple pieces, but the reason I put this slide here is somebody took a picture of that and ended up in the newspaper and in the advertising for our open house in town. Horrible picture, but think about how could you tie up a display through the year? And I'm talking about window displays here for me because that's where I go. I have more creativity. The inside of the store, we keep a little more toned down. This past year, we celebrated actually 15 years. 15 years, the anniversary gift is crystal. So I decided, how could I incorporate crystal? I have these crystal chandeliers from a wedding. I'm going to put them on the window, and all the windows through the year are going to be around those chandeliers. This was the first Valentine's Day window. It had there's a little cupid you don't see very good. But then I started to bring the display smaller to make it easier. And then there's tables at the ends. And by the way, the reason everything is that way is movable. The display could go to this side of the window. The next season, it could go to this side of the window. The tables are in the middle. The tables are in the end. We could mix it up. It makes it more creative. Another thing is changing the color of the tablecloth on the window is the easiest way to make a big impact. So if for Christmas it's white, then we go red for Valentine's Day, then we can make it pink. This is something that doesn't cost a lot of money. And the best part, you could store product underneath it. When using these tables, are on the window, so you could see kind of the one on the left is the one that is right there now. The linen is kind of like a mossy green, and we went with a little green wall. We have a big cherry blossom tree that is 12 feet tall on the window that people are actually liking. The one in the middle was a Halloween window last year, and the other one was a spring that's right now at the store. And you could see how it's an easy color change that you don't have to change the entire product. I could just take the silk flowers and change the linen and use the same candle holders and the same pots to create a different look, so I don't have to reinvest in doing everything from scratch. This is some of the windows from last year. The one on the left is actually, we do have a wedding-ish window because in the winter is where all our brides come into the store to book. So we usually go bridal-ish to give them ideas. The next one was Valentine's Day this is the one we just took down. And the one on the right was Christmas, this last Christmas. And all of them incorporating the chandelier idea. Something on the Christmas one is, I decided to decorate that tree very simple. It was just icicles. And that artificial snow you buy in the little packets, I just put 500 icicles on this tree and just shoved like 10 packets of that. That's all that tree had. The first week of that window, we sold over 1,000 icicles because people thought, that's a great idea. I want that in my house. Also, the deers are animated. When you have anything moving, anything spinning, it creates more interest and gets people attention. If you want any information on how to get some of this product, I could always tell you. Those came from Mark Robert as a company, and they always have a lot of animated products. They're a little expensive, but I keep using them. This is the third time I use those deers. Another idea how to come up with a theme for the entire year, I decided, for no reason really, to use the Wizard of Oz as inspirations for the window. The Valentine's Day was the Tin Man with our heart. The spring was the lion on the poppy field. The summer was Dorothy on the farm. The fall was the scarecrow with the crows and the pumpkins in the field. The Halloween was the Wicked Witch of the West. And the Christmas was the Good Witch, because she's the one that brought the snow. We did that window. Basically, I think it was because a friend did the Tin Man as a costume for Halloween. And that's how I said, well, since I have this, I'm going to go with it. People still today come into the store, and for some reason, we touch a nerve that people related to and thought this has been the best windows we've ever done. And it was just out of a crazy idea that sound. Sometimes we come up with big ideas, or we see big ideas, and we truly have a small budget. Window displays are expensive. And this picture is the Macy's Flower Show. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Macy's Flower Show, but they do it in New York City and in Chicago. And if you have a chance to go see it, it's kind of crazy. The entire store is made out of, decorated with flowers. And every display is made with flowers and plants. This is part of the selling the concept, right? We are selling ourselves. We're selling that we are creative, that from all the other people in town, we could do this. Look how crazy, how creative, how colorful we could be. Here it is. Here's a sign for you. Always make a statement. Create a story or a theme. Even when you're trying to do a play, you always imagine where this actor lived, what was his background story. And you come up with all these scenarios on how you're going to play this character. You kind of have to do the same thing with the window. And it's like, what do you want to tell? What's the story behind it? A focal point, like everybody else, you think about it as, when you think about a play, you have, your main characters, and then you have your leading roles, and then you have your supporting roles. That's the same thing when you do a display, is that this is the focal, and everything else is going to be surrounded to make this look better. Be bold. Again, there's a lot of noise out there, and if you want to jump over the noise, you have to be colorful or be kind of crazy. Keep it simple in the composition. When the display is too busy, your eye just ignores it. So I like to do all one color, because when our location downtown, we are between two signal lights. So people stop and go a lot. So if I do a lot of color, I get attention, and you always see people stopping, looking. This is a store, I want to come back. Also, we get a lot of people that are walking and look at the window, and it's, oh wait, this looks interesting, let me come back inside. And that's what you want. Balance is always a key. It's just pleasing on the eye. And lighting, especially when doing window, is very important. When you want to take pictures of your window, by the way, the lighting coming from the window needs to be stronger than the light coming from the outside when you're going to take a picture. But if you wait until it's dark outside, I have a problem. We have a lot of stores around us with a lot of light up signs and posts, so then what you see is all the reflection on the glass. The best time to take pictures is dawn and dusk, because you have enough light that the lights on the street are not on, but you have to either get up early or stay a little later at work. Now, this is a picture of the window of Macy's Flower Show. All that is fresh product. It's quite insane. Also, quite a lot of money. This one was a couple of years ago. They also do the outside of the store. How many of you have tried to do a display outside the store? A floral display? Have you got any attention? It's always a good idea. Secure it and build it so it's not going to go anywhere. But what they do is they did frames of flowers around every window. Now, this window, imagine if you could do your name, like for us it's, Monarch Garden and Floral, but just do Monarch in those flower letters. Would be a really cool idea. Or even better, how about just the arch of flowers on the window and just leave it open so people could go in and take pictures? That would be a cool idea. Also, we do sometimes when I plan for it enough, art storefront is the perfect place because we could do a frame around the doorway. Of course, it's 12 feet high, but we could do fresh garlands of greens and lights around it on the outside, and it always gets people's attention. Now, probably 12 years ago, I saw these two windows. This is also part of Macy's Flower Show. And I think I could do this work. I could make this work. This is a good idea. How am I going to do it? I don't know. But let's see how much attention will I get doing something like this. It's going to be elaborate. It's going to take time. So these were my versions of it. The dress in the left is a jacket that I bought at a sales store in town. It was 75% off, and I took salal leaves and glued them to the jacket and fold them over the lapel. It was work, but it looks like an actual jacket. The bottom is just chicken wire, and then I glue like Mod Podge, with papier mâché, and then moss and twigs, and I think it had mushrooms and pods. It was kind of like a woodland fairy kind of style. The other one is the crazy one. That is lavender. I went to the local lavender farm and said, could you sell me lavender in like boxes? So I got boxes of lavender, and me and my best friend sit on watching TV for 2.5 weeks doing bundles of 7 stems of lavender. Took forever. I think she actually got an allergy reaction to lavender from that. She still talks about it. This display got so much attention that pictures of that ended up in the Lavender Convention, International Lavender Convention in England. But also time-consuming and expensive because you have to buy the lavender in bulk still. That was quite a few dollars. But then my friend Brandon, who's here from Region, decided to do an even better idea. And he takes the flowers that come back from the weddings, the flowers that are not good for sale, the garlands that you set up on the wedding, he brings them back and dries them out. So the window on the right, he spent $45. This is all product we have that we usually are tossing away. So I even thought, what about that garland of magnolia or seeded eucalyptus that you use in the wedding? You're going to toss it. How about measure it? Because it's going to dry out, it's going to get crunchy, right? So think of where do you want to use it, measure, and hang it in the way you want, and put it in the basement and let it dry out. Spray paint it, and bring it back and add some flowers to it through the holidays. You have a really cool display that basically you were going to toss. And the one on the left is that, how many of you have scarecrow contests in town? A lot of downtown, so that's his version of the scarecrow. And the bottom of the skirt is made with corn husk, corn plants, It's a little creative. Where are we in time? Because I want to make sure we have to go for lunch. And then interactive displays. And this is something that is very important. Everybody wants that Instagram picture. when you do, not only for every day might be a little pushy to do this type of stuff outside, but think of open house, Christmas, over prom season. This is also Macy's. They did it outside their window, and it was tied up with the display inside the window. But imagine if you have a section in the store for your open house. Like our open house, we could get 3,000 people at the store in one night. Have a photo opportunity with your logo. And everybody's going to take a picture of it, and you could say, hashtag on social media. And from all the people that hashtag, we could give away a gift certificate. Make it a big deal so more people will do it. You're going to get the best turnout in your advertising. Also, I like to follow a lot of accounts that are not necessarily flower shops. Botanical gardens. This picture is from the Bellagio Conservatory in Las Vegas, and if you guys have not had a chance to see, they put a couple $100,000 in one display, if not more. They change it 4 times a year. The stuff they do is insane. But we could take ideas from the stuff they do and incorporate it in our store to make a statement piece. Maybe we have a lot of roses that we could dry it out. And could you imagine you could do that snail with dried roses from weddings? Spray paint him. It's not going to cost you a lot. We all know how to carve foam and build it out. We could do something like this and not spend a lot of money. Of course, we all follow other flower shops. This one is also the one in France that I like because I like how they do the color story. But the reason we are all here is follow each other. You don't know what other flower shop is going to do that is going to inspire us. And you could say, maybe I don't like the way they did it, but I like the idea, and I'm going to copy-ish something. We all copy flower arrangements. We like that arrangement. I would not use that flower, but I'll do it in this flower. It's kind of the same thing. And floral events, this is a big one. Right now, Fleur de Vils is going on in Florida, I think, is right now. But they do it all over all over North America. I think they're going into Canada right now. And what they do is they call this ones the femmes, and they call designers to do this femmes all over malls or specific places. The stuff they do is crazy and super creative. Like if you look at the pictures of Florida right now, what they did, it's pretty cool. Flower shows. Flower shops from garden clubs. Flower shows. The Philadelphia Flower Shop, I think, is going on now. And it has, again, a lot of great ideas. If you have the chance to go visit, it's always, you get a lot of inspiration. How many of you do kind of a crazy-ish displays at the store right now? You do? What has been one of your best ones that you got the most returns out of? Yes, you said squirrels that spin around, so you get a lot of attention. Yes, so the same thing, motion gets the attention. I got some from Mark Roberts. They have it's a motor that you hang in the ceiling. It has a little stick and then kind of spins. But you could do flowers or stars at Christmas, and that spinning gets the attention. Animated stuff is cool, but it's also expensive. So you kind of have to buy something that you will use multiple times and not spend a lot of money on something that you're like you could get an animated witch, for example, and spend, $400, but then you don't want to use it every year because they get old. But how many of you are friends with other flower shop owners. How about you buy it, but then you could loan them to them, and then they could use it, because I do this with Brandon, that our customers from Bay City and Petoskey are not going to cross over. You could copy exactly my window. I don't care. Use them. It's here. So just take them and share them with other people. Displays. I have this table that I don't need. You could use it. I have this shelving unit. And it's, how many of you are friends with the flower shops in town? Only one person? 2? 3? Our best friends are our competition, who are less than a block away. Sky's the limit, and she runs the flower shop on the back. The flower room, on the back. Your best friend is your competition, because you never know when you're going to be in need, but also let's say we are competition, but we are not. We have different clientele. And, we have some crossover here and there, but for the most part, we have different styles. But I have no problem. It's like, you're looking for a shelving unit to display this. Hey, I have this one, use it. At the same time, hey, you run out of a dozen roses that you need white, and you sold them and you don't have them. Come over and take them. I don't mind. I go as far as say, if you took a wedding and you need 30 of those 26-inch cylinders, don't buy them. I have them. It comes back, and it will help you in the future, the better relationship you have for them. Now, how many of you have window display to the street? How big is your window? Are you getting... so you have a lot of space. Do you do window displays on everything, or do you do merchandising? Are you getting feedback on those windows? So you have a lot of traffic. Have you ever thought of doing something outside the store? Because that will be building it strong enough that it will stand a storm. I use a lot of not great quality silks because the price point, because you're going to need a lot of it. And then I build it out of, like in my case, we build them out of 2x4s and just put them on the inside frame. And then we use a nail gun, and we just put it all attached to it. It's not that, it's just a lot of work. We try to do it like on a Sunday when there's not a lot of traffic. Also, there's another flower shop that does it as a class, and then everybody kind of builds it together. That's another way of doing it, so you have a little extra pair of hands. But if you don't have the window space, you could do stuff like this on the inside of the store when you walk in. But what is the reaction of people when they walk into your store? Do you hear people saying, oh, this is beautiful? Do you get good feedback every time people come in? In our store, it's on a daily basis that we have people come in and said, usually a curse word attached to it, and it's like, wow, this is a great store. Smells so good in here. This is great. If you're not getting that every day, then we need to work a little bit on this. Let me see, how are we in time? So we have a couple minutes. It's not just the display part of it, but it's how the store sounds, how it smells, how it makes them feel. And all those things together create a customer experience, and you're letting the store talk for you. What is your store saying right now? And that's why we take this to a longer class, because there's a lot of little games we play to figure it out. Okay, when you walk in, what do you smell? When you go into your floral counter, what do you see? I hate when I go to a store and all I see behind the counter is where they have all the tools and the paper stashes and the trash can and all that. All that is part of the customer experience. All I see is all the junk. We all need that junk to function behind the register, but I don't need to see it. Another thing that bothers me a lot is the music in a lot of the stores. We are putting stations that have commercials selling somebody else's. Another thing is, are you listening to the songs that are playing on the radio? A big example is Sia Chandelier song. It's about, I'm going to hang myself from the chandelier. It's kind of a crazy idea, but you were playing it in the store. So that's where you kind of have to pay attention to these things, because all of this is part of the customer's experience. Something that we suffer at the store is that because our store is so big, and sometimes, we're only 1 or 2 people working at the store. When somebody comes in, we scream from the back of the store, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's kind of a annoying thing, but we all do it. But it's for the person that is coming in feels, oh, they're saying welcome. For the person who's standing next to you, you just startled them because you're screaming to the person who's over there. And you'd completely kill the experience for that person. Also, somebody likes, like our compost bins are tin, are like the tin trash cans. And when they're empty, when you're throwing stuff, all you hear is the clonk, clonk, clonk. It's like when you are at the store, all you hear is somebody banging on a tin can. So you kind of have to think about those things when customers are in the store, because you're damaging their experience. Another thing that I like to do is have somebody else walk the store for you and tell me, honest opinion, what do you feel, what do you hear, what do you smell, what do you like? You could also send them as a mystery shopper and said, tell me. I like to be at the store when nobody's there. And I like to just kind of stand by, because sometimes we walk through the same corner 100,000 times and we're not paying attention to that is crooked or that is broken. How many of you go actually outside your store and do a walk every day? We had a bad experience that in the other store, there was a bar down the street. People will leave at the bar at 2 in the morning and stick beer bottles in my planters. So then I don't go outside because my entrance is through the back door. I've had 3 beer bottles in my planter for 3 days. And it seems kind of silly, but I found even worse things in my planters. And that's where every day you have to make an attention that this is the first thing people see. Somebody's to gum on the window, or there's a bird that went to Taco Bell before having a stop at the store, and it's all you see. But because we come from the back, we don't ever go outside. Or something that I noticed last week, we have those little signs that go outside in the sidewalk that are like little, because we're in an old downtown. It's missing a letter. How long has that been up there without missing a letter? I never look at it. It's been there for 15 years. I don't look at it. So now we have to call the company and have it replaced and whatnot. But it's just stuff like that we're not paying attention. So it's always good to come in when we are not on a rush to get all this work done, to kind of take a look and, this is kind of crooked, or this is kind of dirty, or somebody broke something and just left it there. We have a problem that we have so many silks, and at the beginning of the season, there's so many in one container that when you pull one, they all come out, and customer will throw them out and leave them there, and then walk away, and suddenly this person look at every single flower in the white section, and they're all outside the pots. And then I'm on the back trying to get a wedding ready, and I'm not paying attention that the whole front, all the flowers are on the floor. So then, you kind of have to go back and put this belongs here. Or for us, the worst one is they take this out of here and put it over there. And then they take this one and put it over there. Once a year, the entire store comes out, and we have to just sort all the silk flowers because we have 2 over here, 2 over there, 2 over there, and it looks messy. Also, another thing is, if you have to get rid of it, because nobody's going to buy 2 silk flowers. Put them on sale. If you probably are never going to get that exact same flower again. Another one is, don't try to change the entire store for every season. That is a lot of work, and none of us have that amount of time. So pick, in our case, we have the middle of the store, has that big white table is right when you walk in, and there's 4 round tables that have linens, and that's kind of what we call our seasonal. That is what we change for every season. We change the linen, we make them Christmas, we make them fall, and the rest of the store stays pretty much the same. You could always add 1 Christmas tree in this section and 1 over there a little bit, but not try to change the entire store because that's too much work. But it makes it easier to make a quick change. How many times do you change your window displays or the displays right in front of the store? Anybody? Seasonally? So we'll say like 5 times a year? At least 5 times, sometimes once a month. You could change, keep it Easter, but maybe move it around a little bit, change this to here, this to there. I have customers that come into the store very often, like once a week. So you have to keep a reason for them to come back. And if every time they come back, the same pot is in the same corner for the past 12 months, it looks like you have nothing new. Even though we do, it looks like we don't. Anything on the window actually needs to change more often. A quick change, just a quick refresh. Let me just change this plant for this other color, or let's change this flower. It makes a difference for the people walking by. Now, if you want any in detail of any of this, we have done classes that are in here for an hour on a specific topic, or we have done in-depth classes. We did one that was at the store that we could get more in detail to this, because this could get a little more complicated. Store traffic and all that. So if you have any idea, any interest in learning a little more of any of these specific topics, you could let us know, and we could design a class just based on those specifics, because this is way too much information to put in a little hour. And sometimes it's hard to explain because we have to do samples, and this is how you play with it to learn it. So just let us know so we could put something together for you. And how are we in time? Sorry, but I'm not, keep looking at my phone because I don't have my watch with me. So questions, because we have 5 minutes for questions. No, we're good? Okay. So, over here? Yeah, tell me. I use probably 25 different companies. Price Point is one of them. How much silks do you do? So price point becomes important because a lot of these companies are volume-based. So if you buy $300, you're going to pay $10, but if you spend $10,000, you'll pay $5. In silk flowers, how many of you have like Hobby Lobby or all these stores, you know, they're price point based, so it's hard to compete with that. And a lot of these silk companies will sell to them also. So they'll have the same silk that I'm selling for $9. You could go to Joann's and get it for $4 because they have the volume and they will buy, you know, containers of the same thing. So sometimes it's hard to compete with that. There's companies like Melrose, Ras Imports, Allstate Floral. They have good product, but they also sell other stuff. So then you could buy planters and accessories and silks and make a bigger order. But it's sometimes hard to get a big order in silks. And that makes it profitable for you because sometimes it's hard to sell a stem for $30. Mm-hmm. Yeah, any questions? Good, okay, so then it's time for lunch, so I'm ready for lunch. So thank you for being here, and hope you learn a lot, and talk to other florists and follow them. Yep, thank you.
We sure appreciate it. This
you.
was fascinating. I think that this is one of the most important aspects of our business, and we tend to forget about it because we're so busy doing our business, right? Making sure that those orders are done and getting things out the door. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure appreciate it.